good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. I wanted to secure some stairs because when you're doing your yearly maintenance for water heaters, and in this case I bought a filter for an oil burner that I have to replace for somebody, they are not secure. So I got some concrete fasteners. These are from Confast. I'm not sure I've ever heard of the people, but big pack of a 1/4 inch concrete fasteners. I want to see the quality of these, but this is not what the video is about. The video is about safety, right? If you're going to be doing anything where you're walking up and down stairs, the stairs can get wobbly over the years, and trust me, it looks like this. Now ignore the dust and stuff that needs to be swept up, but if you step on these stairs, you can see these stairs, they like to flex. It's a lot more visible in person, but hopefully this will reinforce them a lot more. So clearly not the safest thing in the world. Again, will it last? Sure. Am I being a big baby? Sure. But if nobody's going to fix the stairs, at least something to give it a little more reinforcement if you don't want to sit there replacing an entire set of stairs. So what you need to do is on your staircase, wherever that wobble is, there's usually a certain spot where you step and it either kind of tilts one way. That is where you want to put your structure or your support, not in front of it or behind it, but right at that place. So you're going to take a bubble level. Let me go get one just to show you. Just for you to be able to visualize it, what I did was took a level, put it right here. Once you have a level line and you know that the stairs are stable, if you need to put a weight down or something to make sure you see where the stairs rest normally, that's where it's supposed to be. From there, you're going to see from that level line the difference between this angle. This is the same thing as what you're taking off from here, right? So once you make that angled cut, you know what's going to sit flush against your, this is already done, but yeah, the video is going to be showing you how to do it, but just so you can visualize it better, you want to make that nice crisp line. So now you have your angle that you need to cut. From that same edge, you measure to the floor, right? And then from one stringer to the end, you're going to measure that inner, let me just turn on my light. You're going to measure that inner distance from here to that edge here. You're not going to measure from the inside of here. You're not going to measure from the outer edge or from the inner edge. It has to be from the interior here, between this side and this side, because that's where your bottom board has to fit. If you're using the same thickness of material, you're going to measure from in here so it fits inside. You don't want it sitting out here. You want it as flush as possible. So in that particular angle, I measured mine at 47. The reason I'm not going to show this is because your staircase may be different. It may be a perfect 45. In this case, it was a little bit bigger than that. So once you have your angle of how this support is going to be sitting against the back of your stair, or against that stringer, you're then going to measure from that line to the floor. In this case, 24 inches. So you're going to take it over to your miter saw. You're going to make your marks. You're going to cut your piece to 24 inches in length, right, end to end. And then from that corner, you're going to make your mark with whatever angle you have. In this case, set your miter saw to 47, and you made one. Now you got to do one more, and it's exactly identical, so there's no need to show you twice. I did one, so I'm going to show you one. And yes, don't worry, I am going to install it. This video is not just me sitting in front of a miter saw. I hate those videos where they show you something and it's like, here's what it is. I just took it out of the box and set it on a table and talked about it for 30 minutes. No, we're going to get this installed, don't worry. I'm going to bring this out to 24 inches. And the reason I'm backed out is because I'm like going back and forth, so apologies if I'm not zooming action too much. But end to end, make our 24 mark right there. And even though you can use your tape measure to make the mark, I like something sitting against the edge that makes a perfect symmetrical line that no matter what, it can't be fudged up if the tape measure happens to shift a little bit for whatever reason. It happens. Now, we've got our mark. We don't want to cut this at 47 quite yet. Bring it back to 0, locks in. Make your first cut at the length. So now we have our cut, 24 inches right to the end. Now, we're going to take our angle, whatever your angle is, in my case 47. This miter saw has the light before you start cutting, so you can, again, safety, use safety glasses, use your hearing protection, all that good stuff, right? But you're going to bring that shadow line right up to the corner. You're going to make the perfect stop, and if you need to, you can put your clamp on or have some kind of third-party accessory clamp. I'm just going to hold it with my hand, and we make our cut. Beautiful. So now that we have the two pieces that are going to be sitting against the stringer, we need one solid piece against the ground that's going to be connected straight to the concrete, or in your case, maybe you have wood, maybe it's a subfloor. I don't know what you have, but I'm going to be going into concrete here. So in my case, I got 32 inches. So I have a longer piece of stud that is 32, cut end to end. No angles necessary. It's just going to be what these two are going to be connecting to. For the connections, I'm not going to be spending money on spacks, timber locks, GRKs. No fancy fasteners, just whatever standard deck screws I have, just whatever's laying around. Again, I don't want anybody to feel like they have to have specialty equipment. This is something that's just going to be, thrown on. If you're going to be doing this on really nice stairs, then yeah, spend money extra for fasteners. But this is just to make it a little more stable for the occasional maintenancing. But I'm not going to be using my rotary hammer because you might just have a hammer drill at home. So I'm going to be using this. This bit actually came with 100 concrete fasteners from Confast. They included the bit. So typical 2x4 pieces of lumber are going to be 1.5 inches in thickness. The main thing is to make sure that you have a vacuum of some kind. I don't care what you use. You always want to have a vacuum to suck out any of the dust that's in there. A lot of people, your concrete fasteners are not doing well because you're not sucking the hole out, so it's getting packed in with all that dust, and so that dust is not allowing it to properly seat itself and grab with those threads. You need to suck it out, or get a blower, blow it out, or some kind of compressed air can, something. You got to get the dust out of that hole. The only thing that should be going down into that hole is your concrete fastener, with just a hair of space at the bottom for any dust that may come out as those threads are biting. And the last thing I want to illustrate is this is the piece that is 32 inches right from end to end. Get it all in the shot. If you look here, you see these little wings. What I did was measure every 8 inches, right? 8, 16, and 24 inches, right? And then from there, I took it to 1 7/8 inches. That is going to be that nice consistent positioning for the 3 fasteners that are going to be put in place. Those are going to pull this timber or this lumber into the concrete, and that's what's going to give you that nice sturdy foundation. Alright, so I don't know if you can see me or if this is blinding or whatever, but it's kind of dark in here. I swept up the majority of the area. It's a little bit of water in here. This will dry out, but as you can see, this needs to be super clean. My mom always taught me, don't judge if you're not going to help. So, the condition is just age and time. So nobody's going to sit here and renovate these stairs. These are kind of like a cut them apart and start over. But with the amount of play that's in these stairs, this is going to do a lot better. So I'm going to start by putting these supports up, making sure the right angle, and then we can start seeing about drilling that concrete. We want to make sure that we are always, when it comes to silica particles, anything involving stone, masonry, concrete, cement, you always want to make sure anything you're cutting, metal shavings, anything, do not breathe that crap in. It might be cool when you're young. You get to a certain point, you're winded, your lungs are stressed out, and it can cause a lot worse. So do keep that in mind. Sorry if I'm blinding you, I'm not able to see the screen right now, but always mask up, and when stuff goes flying, security goggles or safety glasses. Let's do it. It's a T25 bit, in case anybody gives a crap. The Makita XPS impact bits are the best I've ever used. Nobody's paying me to say that. I genuinely use these exclusively. These are the only bits that I have. I do have some old Ryobi bits that I use as like beat up stuff, but it is what it is. These are my favorites. Always want to make sure you're holding the bottom part. Back up just a little bit. You want to straighten them out. Beautiful. The only thing I forgot to bring was a magnetic bit, just so I'm not worrying about fumbling these screws back and forth. Beautiful. And before we connect our final 2 deck screws to each side to secure it, I am going to pre-drill 3 holes so I know where they go through, and then take the piece out. Once they touch it, they'll make a little indentation with the concrete bit, and then I'll be able to drill them out without the piece of wood in the middle so that I get the right depth. With these, you typically want to drill essentially the length of the fastener plus probably about 1/8 of an inch. Some people say 1/16, but just enough for a little bit of dust to come out from the threads, just under. Alrighty, we have our holes. Now we reveal the 3 spots where the drilling must take place. All that's left is to drive in our concrete fasteners, and then once we know it's in place, we can hook up our supports to this frame piece. Also, in case anybody cares, for these, even though they say they are 1/4 inch fasteners, they mean the thickness of the part that's fastening itself. The head, you will need either a 5/16 socket, or I found that an 8mm and even a tight 7.5mm will work as well. But I don't have any impact rated ones, so I'm going to use a chrome. So I'm going to use it with a drill instead of an impact, because I don't want this breaking on me. Be very careful when impacting chrome sockets. They can break, go flying with shrapnel. That's not good. Be safe out there, people. We only get one life. Unless you're a cat, and then you have 7 or 8 left. So if you're a cat, I don't know how you're watching my video, but subscribe as well. Now, as you can see, I proud it just above flush, so if I need to take them out in the future, it's not a pain in the butt to have to carve out the material around to get it out. But this, I mean, that's already solid as hell. And so you saw how I had to pick up the board before and kind of see where the hole was. Sometimes they don't perfectly line up if it's at a slight angle, but that is why you don't want to attach these supports on either side until this part's done. That way you can always check your work and know that it's secure. My socket came off. Duh. Alrighty. A little more. Give it a good bite. A little more. Alright. Beautiful. Now, a couple more holes so we could pre-drill out our 2 supports, and we are done here. I drilled that out and I didn't hit record like a jackass. But anyway, small hole here. It's a small channel. I don't have money for fancy, you know, SPACs and GRKs and whatnot. I understand you're going to say, it's not expensive. You could buy it at any hardware store. Well, if that was the case, whoever owns this home would happily spend the money for it. But I do not. So if anybody wants to send me some cool fasteners, that'd be great. It's not going to be for me. It'll be for people that need it. Try to bring this as centered as possible. All right. That is bone solid. Alrighty. Nice and flush. Now let's check the result by getting up on the stairs, giving it a little dance, and seeing how sturdy it is. So for reference, now there's only lateral movement as opposed to dipping, which is a step in the right direction. Lateral motion we can build supports for, but you know, even the handrails are not the best that they can be, so one step in the right direction. The reason I'm out of breath is because it's just so damn hot in here, and if I turn off my light, I mean, let me just turn it off so you can see it is friggin' dark in here. Like, if not for my lights, I would be literally in the darkness. So I'm finally back home. Made a big old mess, but to answer all your questions, I will leave a link in the description to the concrete fasteners. They do come with their own bit, which is pretty cool. These are the deck screws that I used, Deck Plus 2.5-inch screws. They do come with a free T25 if you need it. Otherwise, Makita right here, #1. As long as they continue to make bits this good, I will keep buying them. When they start dropping in quality, on to the next one. Maybe the DeWalt Max Fits. I heard those are good too. Keep a mask, and don't have this mask for 10 years. If you need to, right here, every so often, grab a replacement. All right, it's not my lungs, guys or girls, it's yours. All right, this little filter, one-way valve. You breathe in, it goes through filter. You breathe out, comes out the bottom. I don't care which one you use. Protect your lungs, protect your hands, protect your eyes. The medical assistant in me is telling you your health is above all. Doesn't matter how good the tools are if you're not around long enough to enjoy them. Hope you had a great day. Work smart.